Oh, good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, viewers. My name is Emeka Daniel. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. And how was your weekend?
Oh, very well. Fantastic.
Fantastic,
It needs to be hectic, though, but
well,
interesting, I must say.
We are here. And as they say, up and grateful. And that is exactly our mood here this morning. We are rearing to go to do what we do here at this time. We go on this quick break. When we return, the papers are in. Good morning. All right, we'll start with the Nigerian Tribune today. The Nigerian Tribune has boldly written on a center page, Natasha Saraki cautions Akpabio. Natasha Saraki cautions Akpabio with riders here, advises him not to politicize, trivialize call for due process in Senate. And the recent suspension of Kogi lawmaker of first legal action, Sarah tells Akpabio. Another writer says in 15 years, all lawmakers suspended by NAS, state assemblies reinstated by courts. Falano. In 15 years, all lawmakers suspended by the National Assembly and state assemblies, have been reinstated by courts. That is from the NLC. Femi Falano. All right, this is quite an interesting one. If you follow the Senator Natasha Putu-Duahan, fiasco at the National Assembly, the seat issues, the allegations of, sexual advances from in which she alleged the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, and which she made public on a TV station, and of course the process of how everything went. Many persons have been calling on the Senate to tread with caution. Now she has been suspended for not following due process and for House infractions, actually for Senate infractions. That is just why she has been suspended, and the Senate has repeatedly said that it is not about the sexual advances allegation at all. It's just because she hasn't followed due process in the House, as he has flouted many rules of the Senate as well. Now, who else can talk on this matter that people can listen to, if not somebody that has been at the House severally and at the Senate severally, and has been the Senate President Bukola Saraki, former governor of Kwara State, cautioning the Senate President to tread with caution and not to politicize, trivialize, and he's calling for due process in the Senate. Away from that, just below that actually, we have some eminent women there. Mrs. Tara Feladuro Toye, and GMD, Chief Executive of Zenith Bank, Dame Patience Adora Umoji, and Honorable Commissioner, for Commerce and Cooperation, Trade and Investment in Lagos, Mrs. Folashade Ambrose Medeben, and many women in that picture commemorating the International Women's Day that was held last Saturday. Away from that, Catholic bishops decry worsening security and economic hardship. That's it. And Abacha family rejects Babangida's claim on June 12 annulment. This is far from being over. Abacha family rejects Babangida's claim on June 12 annulment. And 15 killed in Benue communities. 15 killed in Benue communities. And PDP to hold Southwest, North Central Zonal Congresses April 12. And monetary recoveries funding Nigeria's education loan, EFCC. Monetary recoveries funding Nigeria's education loan. Interesting. By implication, they are saying the money that are seized here and there, confiscated by the EFCC, is what is being used to fund the education loan as we currently have. That's coming from the EFCC. Away from that, importers to pay more as shipping companies increase charges. Importers to pay more as shipping companies increase charges. Of course, you know who will bear the brunt. Now, Transcorp Group records 107% revenue growth on FY 2024. And top strip, Fubara invites Amaule, 26 other lawmakers for meeting over Supreme Court judgment. And here, our foundation webinar, Africa, experiencing complex, evolving challenges, must take destiny in own hands. That will be all from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune for today, Daniel.
Moving on to the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. On the Daily Trust newspaper, Tinubu's re-election campaign kicks off in North. Tinubu's re-election campaign kicks off in North. And we have some riders there. El Rufai meets Aregbesola Bakari in Lagos. Atiku in Abuja. President's son intensifies Ramadan visits. Community leaders, bandits work out peace deal in Katsina. Community leaders, bandits work out peace deal in Katsina local government. We have another story here. General Shiga's abduction, reminder of alarming insecurity in North. General Shiga's abduction, reminder of alarming insecurity in North. And that's according to the Arewa Consultative Forum, the ACF. You would recall that about over a month ago, I think on the 5th of February, to be precise, General Shiga was abducted. Retired Brigadier General Shiga was abducted. It was actually the former Director General of the NYSC. So if someone of that caliber, can be abducted and has not been found, it's been over a month now, of course, it should give us concern about the state of security in the nation. So the ACF, the Arewa Consultative Forum, they are raising an alarm here concerning the insecurity in the nation. We have another story here. Rivers lawmaker dismisses Fubara's invitation. Rivers lawmakers dismisses Fubara's invitation. You would recall that on Friday, the governor of Rivers State claimed he has received the certified true copy of the Supreme Court's judgment. Now he has extended an olive branch to the lawmakers, that's to Martin and Maiwele's faction, inviting them for a meeting for them to discuss their remuneration and other sundry matters. Now the lawmakers are dismissing that invitation. They are supposed to meet today, 10th March 2025 at 10 a.m. So let us see if the lawmakers would change their mind and honor that invitation there. Moving on to other stories, still on the Daily Trust this morning. Stop tarnishing Abacha's image over June 12. Family tells IBB. Stop tarnishing Abacha's image over June 12. Family tells IBB. How Kwara Mieti Allah leader was killed. How Kwara Mieti Allah leader was killed. And we see the same picture here, the picture commemorating the International Women's Day. There we have the founder, House of Tara, Mrs. Tara Feladuro-Toye, the Group Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Zenith Bank PLC, Dame Dr. Adora Umeoji. Then we also have the Honorable Commissioner for Commerce, Cooperatives, Trade and Investment of Lagos State, in the person of Mrs. Folashade Ambrose Medebem, and of course, Executive Director of Zenith Bank PLC, Dr. Mrs. Adobe Mwakpa, during that celebration. Now, at the bottom, on the bottom strip of the Daily Trust this morning, we have kidnappers fed us with Gary, freed Benue varsity students. Kidnappers fed us with Gary, freed Benue Varsity students. So the freed students here are claiming that they were fed with gari by the kidnappers. Thankfully, they were fed with something. That'll be all on the Daily Trust this morning.
All right. From the Daily Trust, we move to The Guardian for today. The Guardian newspaper. Worries as EFCC recovers 1 trillion naira stolen cash, assets from politicians, others. Worries as EFCC recovers 1 trillion naira stolen cash, assets from politicians, others. All right, and you will see the statistics and the figures there. From where they got these monies from, or how many persons are involved per state. You might need to pick up a copy of the paper here. Total convictions 4,111, and these are some of what we're seeing at this time. All right, and you have some statistics there. Naira 364,597,370,151 naira 35 kobo, and below that you have $214 million, and then 513, better still, $214.5 million. You have pounds, 54,000 pounds. Next, you have 31,000 euros, Canadian dollars, 2,990. And you have, some of these monies recovered there in different, currencies of the world. Totally, according to the Guardian, 1 trillion naira stolen cash, not even assets. We're talking about stolen cash here. All right, and EFCC will pride itself to say they are, championing the war against corruption, especially financial corruption. Where from that, manufacturers raise alarm over fresh hike in FRC and dues. Real sector pull-out. And stop establishing new universities without funding. Plan Dawn tells federal government. Stop establishing new universities without funding. Plan Dawn tells federal government. I think that is coming at the heels of the new universities approved sometimes last week. Now, Fubara to meet with pro-Wike lawmakers amid political uncertainties in Rivers. Daniel read something, similar the other time, and, maybe there are indications that the House members might not attend the meeting. But then I think it needs to be said, and that is if it's necessary, that these guys don't just move because they want to move. They are legends, belong somewhere. And Absolutely. So it's only normal that maybe, just maybe, if you follow the trajectory, that they must take clearance from somewhere. Nobody needs to tell you. Now, Martin Amaule will not just, say he has received a letter, and so guys, let's move, or don't let us move. You understand what I'm saying?
I actually read the letter, but right. I think the letter was polite enough. I mean, they were actually pleading, categorically pleading with them.
I'm not sure it's about the letter or the tone of the letter. It's the fact that there is more than meets the eye. And, according to you, you said, it's the tone of the letter is more like waving the olive branch,
Absolutely.
To say, let's do this. But then we wait to see. Interesting days ahead, actually. The meeting was supposed to be today, right?
Yeah, 10 a.m. today. Let's see if they will have a change of mind and still honor that invitation.
Whatever happened in Rivers, let it stay in Rivers. We wish them all the best. Now, Catholic bishops decry worsening economy, insecurity, and correctional centers. Actually, that is one thing. And, talking about justice, and, because it's a society that has justice, that you can have peace, These are some of the issues. A story broke at the weekend about a particular individual who was, according to the story, attacked on his farm. He's a farmer, actually. And the guy overpowered his attacker, collected the weapon, and killed the guy in self-defense. The case went to the court, went to the Supreme Court. We learned last week.
Was sentenced to death.
The guy was sentenced to death, for murder. Many persons have been talking about the matter to say, excuse you. And, the grant given by the court, according to what we have seen so far in the public space, is the fact that when the guy had the opportunity to overpower his assailant, collected the gun, he will have run away. If actually it's for self-defense, not to kill. And many persons are saying, even in the process of running away, you fell, and these guys still come after you to kill you. What will have happened? Somebody had the intention of drawing a weapon against you. You had the opportunity to collect the weapon and turn it on your attacker, and now you are being judged to die because you have committed murder. Not even manslaughter, in this case. And it's a lot, actually. Maybe in the coming days we'll get to look at it, because tongues are wagging to say, you stay, you don't do anything, you attack, you are dead. You try to do something, luckily, but now it's not even luckily again. It's looking like, unfortunately, you collected the weapon from your attacker, did the needful by defending yourself, you are still judged to have committed murder. What precedents are we setting? And these are some of the issues we will look at. But then we'll wait for, as they said, the CTC, of that, because sometimes what you see in the public space might not be exactly what Milord read, and we'll wait to see. But if that is anything to go by, then that's dangerous for our society, especially when you're talking about logic. Now, Catholic bishops decry worsening economy, insecurity, and correctional centers. And Anambra PDP splinter group, ex-ABGA members decamp to NRM. It is what it is. And Abacha's family debunks Babangida's claim, says IBB annulled June 12 poll. It's more like the offspring of the man of the family saying, please don't push it on our father. Whatever has happened, took the decision by yourself. And Sani Abacha is not here to defend himself again. So that's just it. And moving on, rescind Akpoti Uduahan's suspension of face legal action. Sarah tells Apabio. And lastly, from the Guardian newspaper, concerns over delayed implementation of a Ronsanye panel report. Quite a report gathering dust somewhere. President Tinubu came and says he would want to do something about it. I think maybe one or two submission in that report has been implemented. The issue of subsuming some ministries, merging some, scrapping some. Maybe we'll see just pinches of those recommendations. But Guardian is saying today that concerns over delayed implementation of our Sanye panel report, and that'll be all from the Guardian today.
Oh, moving on now to the Punch newspaper this morning. On the Punch newspaper, petrol imports jump 105% to 15 trillion naira. Petrol imports jump 105% to 15 trillion naira. And that's according to the National Bureau of Statistics NBS report. System glitch, U.S. Embassy to reschedule visa interviews. System glitch, U.S. Embassy to reschedule visa interviews. Saraki, Serap tackle Akpabio over Natasha's suspension. Saraki, Serap, that's the Socioeconomic Rights and Accountability Program, tackle Akpabio over Natasha's suspension. Of course, these people, they want them to rescind that decision, just like Femi just read out in the other story. Still on the Punch newspaper this morning, South Congress deepens PDP crisis as National Working Committee Wike camp clash. South Congress deepens PDP crisis as NWC Wike camp clash. And we have the major story on the Punch newspaper this morning. Pro-Wike lawmakers give condition to meet Fubara. Pro-wicked lawmakers give condition to meet Fubara. Of course, like we said earlier, they are supposed to meet today, 10th March 2025. So let's see, hopefully they would have a change of mind. The Supreme Court has ruled already, so the governor himself had no choice than to invite them for a meeting. Let us hope it works well for the sake of the people of Rivers State. Okay, they have to come together and make it work. I think it is high time they resolve their differences, because at this point, it is the people who will suffer if the stalemate continues. So let's just hope they reconsider that invitation and they honor that invitation and of course, move Rivers State forward. Moving on to other stories. On the Punch newspaper this morning, in the picture there, we have Ige Mokwede, that's the chairman of Ige Mokwede Foundation, and others during a leadership meeting in Abuja. Lawmakers allege improper letter service. Ousted LG chairman mock governor. That's the excuse they are giving. That's the Martin Ameule faction still talking about Rivers State there for probably not honoring the invitation. But like I said, let us see how it goes today. On another story, on the Punch newspaper this morning, 4,111 convictions secured, over 364.5 billion naira recovered in 2024. And that's according to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. You can read up that story in page 44 of the Punch newspaper this morning. 4,111 convictions secured. Over 364.5 billion naira recovered in 2024. And I think that's a good one. That's a step in the right direction, because a lot of people have been asking, what is the EFCC doing? Are they just hunting political rivals of leaders? But here we have these figures, and I think they are quite impressive. Moving on to another story in the Punch newspaper this morning. El Rufai meets Aregbesola. Bakari as ex-governor deepens consultation. El Rufai meets Aregbesola. Bakari as ex-governor deepens consultation. You can read up the rest of that story on page 45 of the Punch newspaper this morning. FG under fire over plans to import Europe waste. Federal government under fire over plans to import Europe waste. You can check out that story on page 18 of the Punch newspaper. Man flees as girlfriend found dead in Lagos apartment. Man flees as girlfriend found dead in Lagos apartments. And finally, on the Punch newspaper this morning, diphtheria. Lagos meets WHO, National Center for Disease Control, over outbreak in school. Diphtheria. Lagos meets WHO, NCDC, over outbreak in school. And that will be all for the Punch newspaper this morning.
Very well. And so many, interesting development there. And I'm sure you have been kept abreast of the happenings in our nation as seen from our major dailies today, especially front pages. And we'll go on this break. When we return, we'll be speaking to issues, the type that you don't want to miss at all. It's Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Please stay with us.